Today on the Autocar show, Renault adds a 1-litre engine to the Kwid. It's got more power, but is it better? Then, just how impressive is the new Audi A4? Take a first look at the all-new Hyundai Elantra. And more news on Autocar Confidential.
This is the most talked about car in the Indian market. This is the car that has given Maruti sleepless nights. And this is the car that has broken the mold. It's a game changer. And it was the 2016 Autocar Car of the Year. Vindication of all this is the fact that around 8,000 to 9,000 people line up with checks in hand to buy it. This is the Renault Kwid, which after nearly a year of a trailblazing run, comes to us in yet another avatar. This time round, it gets a bigger 1-litre engine. It's got more power for sure, but is it better? And should you be paying that little bit extra for it? That's what we're going to find out in this quick test ride. Let's look back a bit and remember the Kwid's strengths. Things that worked in the Kwid's favor included its SUV-inspired looks, the spacious cabin, practicality, class-leading equipment, and great value. Well, the cabin of the 1-litre Kwid is pretty much unchanged, so it's carried over from the 800cc version. So what you get is a spacious, practical cabin. There's lots of storage space to keep your stuff. Yes, the plastics are a bit brittle and feel a bit cheap, but that's what you would expect from a budget car. But what you don't expect from a budget car is this touch screen. Now, the Kwid was launched with this nearly a year back and it is become a rage. In fact, all other manufacturers are planning to give a touchscreen as well, because really this is a big selling point of this car. There's one thing I don't like, however, and it's this. Look at it, it doesn't even shut properly. And this is something that Renault is working on fixing. This latch of this glove box is very weak. But what's interesting is that this part is the 2% which is not localized. Yes, the Kwid is 98% localized, but the 2% of the parts come from abroad, and this is one of them. So the only parts that are really not Indian are the ones that are giving problems. So that's really a big thumbs up for the Make in India story. The 1-litre Kwid is available with the option of a driver's side airbag. It also gets what Renault calls Pro Sense front seat belts that are fitted with pre-tensioners and load limiters. But the talking point here really is the engine. Renault wanted the 800cc Kwid to be the most fuel-efficient car in its class. So the Kwid's 3-cylinder 800cc engine, though efficient, was let down by a jerky low-speed power delivery. Because that's what happens when you tune it for fuel efficiency. Also, with just 54 horsepower on tap, performance wasn't exceptional in any way. And that's where the Kwid 1-litre steps in. It comes with a larger 3-cylinder engine that makes 68 HP and 91 Newton meters of torque. And it's targeted at buyers who want a degree of performance from their budget hatchbacks. Now, the 1-litre Kwid has become heavier, but that's more due to some structural reinforcements than the engine weight itself, but it still has the best power to weight ratio, 97 HP per ton. That's really better than many bigger hatchbacks. Well, with a larger engine and substantially more power, you would expect the performance of the 1-litre Kwid to be better. But it's not just the performance we're talking about over here, it's just the way the power is delivered that is the talking point. Now, the 800cc Kwid was very fuel efficient, but that came at the cost of a little bit of drivability. There was always a bit of hesitation, a bit of jerkiness. But in this car, that's all smoothened out. Yes, in traffic, there is a little bit of jerkiness, but once you start going, it really is a very linear power delivery. And that's what makes the 1-litre Kwid so much nicer to drive. You can tell how the large engine has enhanced the Kwid from the moment you fire it up. There are fewer vibrations and fewer flat spots too. There is noticeably more power, so overtaking traffic in town is that bit easier. What also helps the Kwid in town is the progressiveness of the clutch and the 5-speed gearbox, which is also shared with the 800cc, and that's also light to use. Those looking for the convenience of an automatic will have to wait for the end of the year, which is when the AMT version is likely to be launched. We are on the East Coast Road, which is from Chennai to Mahabalipuram, and I can say that even at highway speeds, the 1-litre Kwid does a really decent job. It feels pretty grown up, it feels really stable and planted on the highway. Yes, the steering still has a little bit of vagueness, but after a year, Renault have done quite a few improvements, and the constant tweaks have just made this a more rounded car. Now, the larger 1-litre engine hasn't compromised fuel economy too much. The ARAI tested fuel economy figure for the Kwid 1-litre is 23.01 kpl, which is not too far down on the 800cc's 25.17 kpl. What a difference the 1-litre engine has made to the Kwid. In fact, it's possibly addressed its biggest weakness, which is the drivability of the 800cc engine. Now, with this more powerful engine, the Kwid feels more effortless to drive. It feels like a more well-rounded package. And though the bigger engine does penalize fuel efficiency, it's really not by that much. But the question is, should you be paying 25 to 30,000 rupees more for this car? Most certainly yes, because the Kwid is the best budget car you can buy for your money, and the 1-litre engine has made it even better.